Hi guys, and welcome to another film review on Global Film Pool. Today I'll be reviewing the emotional and life-affirming How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies. This has been a huge box office hit, setting records across Thailand and has been successful across Southeast Asia. It has finally had its UK cinematic release over the Christmas period. I think this has also changed the nature of cinema from Thailand, which they often have comedies or horror that are domestically successful. This dramedy is something new in the box office of Thailand. How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies is about a young man called M, who's dropped out of university and is struggling to make an income. He hears that his grandma has stage 4 cancer and decides he wants to reconnect with her, developing those childhood bonds. So he becomes her favourite and passes on her property and her wealth to him, so he doesn't necessarily have to work. However, unknown to him, other family members are also taking this approach, so it becomes a bit of a battle about who is caring for grandma. After much bickering and arguments and lifestyle differences, M and his grandmother eventually form a bond. But will it change M for the better, and will it lead him to a family fortune, which would help him elevate his career and life? How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies has been a huge smash hit in Southeast Asia and has led to a social media trend of people recording themselves crying at the end because it's so emotional. It has also been selected as Thailand's official submission for the Academy Award for Best International Feature Film, and it has become the first Thailand film to make it to that final 15 shortlist. So in this video, I'm going to review the film. I will then also have a look at how well it will do in the Oscar race now it's in the final 15 shortlist, and what this means for cinema from Thailand. So let's roll and review that film. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Paul, and I review the best of world cinema, and I follow the race for Best International Feature Film, from countries selecting their submission to the final winner. How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies is a film about intergenerational relationships, death, and wider family relationships. And there is some familiarity in terms of its dramedy status of Lulu Wang's The Farewell, although I would say The Farewell is a stronger film. On paper, there's many things that I'll come on to of why this film shouldn't work, but it does. And I think one of the key factors that makes this film a success is some of the directorial decisions. So while it's quite televisional, it also does look very good. And there's a real great way in which capturing the day-to-day activity between M and his grandmother, as well as those social realism elements of family conversations, arguments, and discussions. The film really works because of really strong acting performances from the whole cast. It really creates that family dynamic. And two performances I particularly want to mention, and forgive the butchering of names, but Bilkin Asaranakul, who plays M, is formidable. He provides that essence of a young man who's a bit lost and lack of direction in life. But also, there's a great performance by Usha Sinkun, who plays the grandmother, and it's the relationships between the two. There's such authentic chemistry between them. You often get these comic bickering moments where they collide because they are from different generations, different aspirations, and different points of view. But then you also see this genuine grandmother-grandson love that gets developed through their interactions and M's responsibility as a carer. The film feels very familiar in terms of it's one of those stories where you see them clashing at the start and inevitably they're an odd couple, but their bond is developed, and this changes M in particular and helps him develop as a better person. There's a lot of local detail as well in this film, which enriches it, providing us Westerners with an opportunity to learn about different cultures. So, for example, there's lots on funeral processes in Thailand, which are beautiful and really helps understand that sense of community and family as part of the funeral process. But there's also stuff around what it's like to be Chinese Thai and how you incorporate Chinese and Thai celebrations and the particular challenges for that community within Thailand. As a Westerner with very limited knowledge of that country, it provides great cultural insight, and that's what I love about world cinema. I think my one reservation about the film is the fact it's very predictable. It feels a very familiar narrative arc. And after about 20 minutes, you know exactly which way the film is going. and you know exactly how the relationships between M and his grandmother will develop and how this will better M as a person. There's no surprises here. It's very ABC in terms of that sort of narrative arc. The narrative itself does feel very straight to Netflix streaming service without a big launch or big names style film. It's very surface level in the way in which it deals with some of the social issues. So in particular, the grandmother's daughter is not entitled to inheritance because she is female, and that's not particularly explored in the film apart from briefly being mentioned. There's also something around generational inequality, and it's not really tackled or explored in this. It's just a given, the older generation having property and younger generations not having incomes or not being wealthy, and this is because of them rather than generational inequalities that exist. It doesn't explore these issues. It's very surface level in that regard. I think there's something also about the way in which it purposely manipulates the viewer, and you can really feel these manipulations. So in particular, the score feels very heavy-handed from the start. You can really hear it all the time. It's not subtle. It's constantly there trying to direct your emotions. And I feel it doesn't need to do that because the film's strong enough to use the narrative, use the performances and directorial decisions to create a really emotional ending. And it sometimes feels a little bit distracting to have this big blaring score. And really, it could have built up towards the end and then really use it at the end, which would be much more effective. Despite these flaws, I did think it was a great film, and I was manipulated emotionally. I was crying at the end, I tell you that now. It's an emotional film, and it delivers a very emotional punch, which can only really be achieved down to this really great dialogue and chemistry between the actors. I think this is a solid emotional film that really delivers that punch at the end. So if you want a good cry, this is the film for you. And despite its manipulations, despite its very obvious narrative that it's driving forward, I did really like this film. I would therefore give this film 3.5 stars out of 5. And I would rank it as my 11th favourite out of the 23 Oscar submissions for Best International Feature Film. So let's have a look at how well it will do in the Oscar race. As I said before, this is the first film from Thailand to ever make the final 15 in the Best International Feature Film category. This is despite the fact they have previously submitted highly regarded film, such as the Palme d'Or winning Uncle Boumé, Who Can Recall His Past Lives. I would say it's going to be a bit of a struggle to make that final 5. I see France, Brazil and Germany assuring of getting 3 of the 5 nominations. And then there's a lot of competition with the other shortlisted films. And I have a feeling it could be another year of 4 European films and Brazil. So I don't necessarily think there's much room for How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies making that final 5 nominations. However, I do see it as an outside chance because of the huge success it's had in Southeast Asia. It might push the Asian voters to go out and vote for them. I will be doing a further video where I'll go through all 15 shortlisted films and how well it could do in the Oscar race. So if you want to follow Oscar news for the Best International Feature Film category, or if you want to just see reviews for the best of contemporary world cinema, please do like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and put a comment below. Have you seen How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies?